Did they make contact?
No, it's pretty close, but this is going to be a drag race.
Look at this.
Moves out to win it. Carl Edwards bumping, dump and run.
Here comes Gordon right up to the bumper again. The bump and run.
There it is.
Maine really turn around, made a Riley's cage up.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Bump and Run podcast. I'm your host, Michael D. White, joined by my two best friends. It's the Willie B crew today. We're all in our Byron t-shirts. He was the big winner at the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. I'm Michael D. White, joined by my two best friends, Matt the Statman Reilly, Eric Daytona Ron. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Tell all your friends about it. If you got some NASCAR buddies, be like, hey, we listen to this podcast every week. They're pretty legit. Check them out. Spread the word. Spread the love. Spread.
Nope.
Seltzer,
We'll just stop
seltzer
right
waters.
there. I was gonna say I'm drinking my polar seltzer because it was a polarizing weekend.
It was a polarizing weekend, Matt. That's a great one. It's especially good
that was your joke. That was your joke.
I came up with that joke in our group chat earlier, but we're all in our William Byron t-shirts. I gotta give a shout out. My buddy Shrey, he picked this up for me at Pocono. We told that story last week. If you missed last week's show, you missed a great one too. Just because the races aren't great sometimes, that doesn't mean the podcast isn't excellent. And we had one of our best shows of the podcast ever last week. So if you missed it, definitely go back and check it out. I told a story how I got this t-shirt. Me and my buddy Shrey, we bought each other t-shirts. He got me a Willie B shirt. I said, I'm not wearing it until he wins a race. And finally he did. It's been almost I don't even know, close to a year since William Byron won his last race, but he did it down in Atlanta, the new super speedway. Boys, how the hell was your weekend? What'd you think about the racing and everything going on? You have a good weekend? Matt, it's Tuesday night. We're recording on Tuesday. Let the listeners know why.
So yeah, I gonna be a father come late July. My baby is of course due on right around Pocono weekend because of course. So yesterday we had to do online baby courses.
How'd that go?
Oh, interesting. I've got a lot to learn. I've realized.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You
yeah.
learned how to swaddle.
Yeah, actually, I did. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I sent you guys a Snapchat of that. Yeah, I learned how to swaddle, learned what to expect the first couple minutes the baby is born, learned, how to cut the umbilical cord.
Do you really, you have to cut the umbilical cord?
Oh, yeah, dude, yeah.
You're not a doctor.
No, but I'm going to pretend like I am. Yeah,
That's
so.
insane. I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so you got to cut that, and then they because the baby's gonna come out in covered in film, so they tell you that and they show pictures just so you don't freak out, you know what to expect,
Really?
Yeah, they tell you everything, and so yesterday was informative. We got the class was 2 hours long, and it was online because of COVID. So we got about halfway through, and I looked at Steph and I was like, I should probably be taking notes, shouldn't I?
Probably, yeah.
And I wasn't, so I don't know. It's all good. I've got 3 or 4 months to figure it out.
Do they give you a little information packet in the mail or something?
Yeah, there's there's a website that we can go to. And
so there's a PDF file you can fall back on. My
fallback plan is Steph. So my wife, I'm lucky, is she has younger siblings that she helped raise with their parents, so she knows what she's doing as far as babies are concerned. Me, I have no idea. The closest baby I've ever been around was Joey Logano in the infield of Pocono one year.
Wow, that's a sick burn. That is a sick burn. Okay, how about you, Eric? Man, how's your weekend?
It was all right. Went down to the bar on Saturday, caught that Xfinity race.
Yeah, how's that?
It was
People
good.
At the bar get into it.
Yeah, and it was kind of not a NASCAR crowd at the bar per se that night, and everyone that was sitting there. I mean, college basketball was on, NCAA March Madness, but guess what? Majority of the people were watching that NASCAR race that was on, and that made me feel good. I mean, a lot of it had to do with me. I had a couple liquor drinks in me, and I started commentating on what's going on the screen, got a little excited when certain wrecks were going on, and I think the people kind of got into it, hearing me explain a few things and talk about it. So the bar loved it. They thought it was it was an exciting race, and it was it put on a show for just not even NASCAR fans sitting at a bar over basketball, which is supposedly March Madness, the number one thing going on right now. So it was good to see the Xfinity Series, not even Cup, get a little limelight from the local bar there and put on a show for the crowd there.
That's the great thing about super speedway style racing too. It's real easy to follow. There's a lot of action going on. Real easy to get people that don't know what's going on to watch and like, man, this is pretty cool. Maybe I'll watch it again. So yeah, that's great to hear, man. I'm glad. I had myself an okay weekend. I have shingles. I didn't even know that young people could get shingles. It happens when you get the chicken pox as a kid. I guess it lives in your body. And stress could bring it out. I thought it was like an old person thing. So I've been itching and scratching all weekend long. It's real painful.
You know what? Listen, I feel terrible, Whitey. I feel terrible. It's something that, for the listener out there, this sort of thing is like, it's
my kind of luck.
It's just his kind of luck. It's such a Whitey thing to happen. Mm-hmm. And on Friday, we were actually, my girlfriend and I, going to ask you and Bree to go to dinner.
Yeah.
And I go, Dana, Whitey's got some kind of
can't do it.
And
yeah,
I go, I don't know if it's like legit shingles or not at the time, but now here we are a couple days later, and I'm feeling for you, buddy.
Yeah, so I actually went to the doctor for the first time in a long time because it made me that concerned. I got an appointment was it Friday morning? I called on Thursday and they got me in the next day. That's how you know it's like probably a serious thing or whatever. So I go into the doctor and I tell him like what's going on. I'm like, yeah, I got this rash thing. Like, I don't know if it's like eczema or like shingles. I've been kind of stressed and stuff. He goes, okay, well, let's take a look. As soon as I leave, she go, oh yeah, it's shingles. He wrote me two prescriptions and walked the fuck out of the room. I was like in and out. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, let me see it. No.
Yeah, kind of. He's like, oh yeah, that's shingles, and just wrote it. So now I'm all hopped up on steroids and stuff. I can't sleep at night because I take them with dinner, because you have to take them with meals and everything, and it just gets me like going at night. So this podcast might get a little off the rails. I took them right before we start recording, so we'll see what happens. I'm zooming a little bit, boys. I'm zooming tonight.
You know what?
And I got a lot to say.
Shingles. You know what's worse than having shingles? Being a Logano fan.
That's true.
And I'll tell you what, I had a Logano fan over at my house last Sunday to watch the race. This Sunday, I had two other friends come over to watch the race, and as soon as they walked in my door, they're both wearing matching M&S pit crew T-shirts for Kyle Busch, and it was so perfect. It was like I couldn't even believe it. Kyle Busch wrecked the minute before they walked into my house, and they were all having matching shirts. Look at us. I go, hey, Kyle Busch, he just wrecked. And they were like, no. Love it.
He just put it into the back Austin Dillon and got them into the wall. Man, what a day. Well, we'll talk.
I can't wait to break this weekend down, boys.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Let's jump right into the news here. Not a whole lot of news. Something that was announced last week that depending on who you are, I feel like most NASCAR fans really kind of didn't care about this news, but everyone else that follows all other types of motorsports was really into it. Hendrick Motorsports announced they want to run a NASCAR Next Gen Cup car in the 24 Hours of Le Mans as a Garage 56 entry, and a lot of the industry really hyping it up. Personally, I don't know. I guess it's cool. It is cool, but like not as groundbreaking as everyone made it out to be before they announced it. You guys remember last week on Twitter before this was announced?
Oh, I remember, because all three of us were like in a stir all day. Like, oh, I can't wait for 1 o'clock. Like, what can it possibly be? And all three of us threw out some ideas of what we thought it might be, which were all exponentially better than what it ended up being.
Yeah. You want to what? Let's jump into those ideas. But first, what day was that? Was that Tuesday?
No, I want to say it was Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was a little later on in the week.
Okay, I was gonna say
I don't remember, honestly. These days are they all mush together.
If it was a Tuesday announcement, I think that's what gave me shingles because I was all nervous thinking about like, oh man, what could this great announcement be? I was stressed out about it. Yeah, so we were all on Twitter and we would see like Mike Joy like, oh, there's news, it's gonna rock the motorsports world. The big announcement with Sebring and NASCAR and IMSA, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, like what could it be? And we tossed out some ideas like, man, what if we had a 24-hour endurance race with Cup, Xfinity, and trucks all on track like IMSA does for the Rolex 24 at Sebring? I think that would have been an amazing idea. And yeah, nothing.
Matt, your idea was absolutely phenomenal, and I loved your idea about throwing it back to where NASCAR actually started its roots.
So yeah, well that was a different. We were talking about street course racing, and it's obviously at this point it's inevitable that we're going to go street course racing at some point, whether it's for a points race or a non-points paying race. That's the only thing that seems to be yet to be determined. But
yeah.
I said if we're going to do a street course, let's go ahead and manufacture a dirt road course some way, somehow. Don't tell me it can't be done because we just built the Coliseum. We just built a track inside the LA Coliseum.
Yeah,
so
anything can be done. Anything can be done.
We build a dirt road course and we throw it, and that's our throwback race. We do all the throwback paint schemes that week. And we give a nod back to where the sport that we love started, back when we were running moonshine on the old country back roads.
Yeah,
I think that would be a really, really neat weekend. Doesn't even have to be a points paying weekend. It could be an all-star weekend. It could be a clash if you want. But I think doing something like that would be really, really cool.
I think that'd be awesome.
300.
The bootleg 300. Hell yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We were talking about it in our group chat about the possibility of a street course coming up. Our friend, your cousin Shrey brought that up, and it just like hit me like, well, if we're gonna do a street course, why don't we do something like that?
Yeah.
And yeah.
But I guess Hendrick's going to Le Mans. Le Mans.
Yeah.
You're going
Whatever.
to Le Mans. You're going to Le Mans class. They're going to Le Mans. Goodyear is looking into the tire issues at Atlanta this past week, which I was actually pretty surprised about the tire issues we saw, because they obviously brought a very hard tire. There's like no tire wear on these because they didn't want any issues like this to happen. They believe it was due to teams running aggressive camber in the car. And if you notice, it was all Chevys that had that issue. Of course, Tyler Reddick, Ross Chastain, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. all blew tires, either leading or just had left leading the race. And they're wondering if they're running aggressive cambers that put too much load on the sidewall of the tire. Now, if you don't know what camber is, that's the angle of the tire as it sits on the road. So like you look at your car, you think they're sitting straight up, but they're actually angled in a little bit. And that's why the inside of your tires will wear quicker than the outside on your street car. So that's camber. So they think they were running an aggressive camber, putting too much load on the sidewall, too much weight of the car being shifted and all that. And that's why we saw those tires blow. And I believe it too, because listening to Tyler Reddick's radio after the tire went out, actually after Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s tire went out, he goes, I wonder if they were putting too much load on the sidewall. So I'm assuming that's what happened. What do you guys think about the tires blown out? Do you think that's an issue we should worry about, or is it seem like an isolated thing with some teams?
I mean, it's a new surface, right, at Atlanta. It's a whole new style of racing at Atlanta. The new car, I think that it was just the perfect storm to have a disaster with tires. I am confident that Goodyear and NASCAR will figure it out. I hope they figure it out. That can't be something that's in the back of drivers' minds while they're leading a race is, oh, Jesus Christ, if I push it too hard, I might blow my tire out.
Yeah.
So it's a little concerning, but just like any other, issue that NASCAR has run into, the first couple races here, I think they're gonna figure something out.
Yeah, I think it's an issue for certain, because in my eyes, it changed the outcome of the race on Sunday for sure.
Yeah. Caused a couple big ones right there.
Yeah. And I noticed Jeff Gordon kind of touched on it, and he he noticed that it was mainly the leaders that were blowing that tire, because when you're up front there at Atlanta with this new track layout, as soon as your car gets in the corner and it loads up and you feel your car set into the track, where basically when you get to that point, it's when your car, that's when the grip needs to happen. That's when your car sets in the corner and it's either sticks or it doesn't stick. Mm-hmm. Well, when that car sticks to that corner and you go around that corner and you're the leader, you're getting even more heat pushed into that right rear tire, being the leader rather than being in the pack. And Jeff Gordon, he actually mentioned that during the broadcast, and that's what he speculated. And that's Gordon, who, you know, at Hendrick, with his new role, he's paying attention to all of that stuff and making sure that, you know, his team doesn't, you know, do some of the things that maybe, like you said, Whitey, Chevy might have been going a little overboard with. But to Matt's point, though, I don't think it'll be an issue later on. I think this is something that we're going to see probably from week to week. Now, maybe not tires, but just
like different things like this.
Yeah, but they'll figure it out. They're very aggressive in getting a situation like that fixed and getting it fixed as fast as they can.
It's not a perfect system. Yeah, they'll get it right.
You know what I just thought about, and I wonder if this is what it is, because obviously for decades, NASCAR Cup teams and engineers, they had the option of engineering their own parts to get more speed out of things, you know. And now with the new next gen car parts being supplied by suppliers in NASCAR really aggressively saying, like, do not modify these. Now they're looking at different ways of setting up the car to find speed here and there. Maybe they're running a little aggressive camber, maybe pushing the tolerances of some things here and there. And some of the crew chiefs are they're finding the limits in the most unfortunate way. And it comes to something like that. Especially since it was all Chevys that kind of do have a little bit of an alliance somewhat with RCR. So I don't know, just a thought there. And one last piece of news. Kurt Busch donates 500 tickets to military service members and veterans to the Richmond race coming up in a few weeks. He does this every year, just a great program he does with VetTix. So if you could qualify, if you're in the military or you were in the military, head on over to vettix.org if you're interested in possibly seeing a free race down at Richmond. And if everyone's listening, go see a race. Go support these local tracks, even if it's a dirt race somewhere, your little local tracks. But we got some racing to talk about from the weekend. Brand new track down in Atlanta. The truck race ended in some controversy as Corey Haim got his first truck win, part-timer. He won in Pocono that we saw in the ARCA series last year, making a couple starts in the trucks this season. And a little bit of controversy because John Hunter Nemechek, his teammate, pushed him to victory. But he didn't push his other teammate, who I think was Chandler Smith, right?
Yeah.
Who made that amazing save in Pocono.
Yes.
Which is insane. We talk about that all the time. Just crazy how things are lining up. But yeah, Chandler Smith was real pissed off. He's like, man, why is a lap car getting involved in everything? And I have a bit of a conspiracy theory on it. Did you guys see the end of that truck race?
I did.
So I think John Hunter Nemechek was a lap or two down. And he's like, I could push my teammate to victory and he's going to get some playoff points. Or I could push my teammate who's a part-timer to victory and he gets no playoff points. Doesn't hurt me in the playoff standings or anything. I think old Johnny Hunter Nemechek was using his big brain behind the wheel of that race truck on Saturday. What do you guys think about that?
You want to know what I think about that?
What he's looking to do is he was looking to do what in the Xfinity race, what the winning move was. That's what I think he was trying to do. I think no matter what, you try to push the guy in front of you far enough out that you could make a tight squeeze in between and get around him like the Xfinity winner did.
But he was two laps down. He wasn't in contention to win.
He wasn't a dog in the fight. He was a couple laps down. So he ended up getting into the pack and like helping, both of his teammates were racing for the win. He was a couple laps down and he ended up just being there to help one of them out. What I think he should have done was kept his nose out of the frickin' fight and just let them battle it out themselves. That's what I think he should have done. I think it was, if I was his teammate, like I know Whitey, you weren't happy with what was it, Chandler Smith who got screwed there?
Yeah. So Chandler
Smith,
happy
with. Go ahead.
He got screwed, and he has every right to be pissed off. But then he kind of threw the whole entire team under the bus in his post race interview, and that's what I didn't like. I think it just made it. I think it made KBM look bad. Like if I was Kyle Busch, I mean Kyle says whatever he wants anyways, but like I'd be mad. Like hey, you're kind of throwing your teammate under the bus here, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to drag on the truck race too long here, but like what were the events that led up to a multiple lap car or a single lap car being up front to begin with, though? How was he even lined up there if he's multiple laps down? What insinuated that even happened?
He just kind of tucked into line and stayed there.
Yeah. It wasn't on a restart.
No.
It was just it was naturally happening. Yeah.
I think this is all on a restart.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Even in our text back and forth the other day, I'm thinking, it's a restart. He said, I'm like, how is he there during a restart? But I'm like, I don't know. You never know how this shit goes nowadays.
Right.
No, it was within like the closing laps. This was all like the last lap move that happened.
Oh, so he decided to go that route. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
In fact, so what it was,
he almost went out of his way. He almost went out of his way to help. Yeah.
I'm almost certain I'm remembering this correctly. They were back to back. Corey Haim was right behind Chandler Smith. He dove down, and then John Hunter dove down with him and pushed him to the win, basically. And that's why I think it was a big brain move, man. I think he was thinking ahead. But I digress. Let's move on to the Xfinity race. Ty Gibbs, second win in the last 3 races. What do you guys think about old Ty Gibbs? Eric, you were watching at the bar.
I, honest to God, think he is the next protege when it comes to someone behind the wheel of a race car. And I believe you put him in any kind of race car, he's going to be the guy. He's making those moves. He's putting his car in position to win no matter, part-time, however many races he's running. He's just going to take advantage of it. And Ty Gibbs just, he put himself in a position to win that race. And I just think he took that race by the move that he made at the end there. That was one of the ballsiest moves I've seen, and that's product of what this new racetrack in Atlanta gave us. And that move and that, end of that race kind of is what got me excited for Sunday.
Yeah.
Him make that move from the second row, it just, to me, was like, that's the difference. When you talk about, whoa, how is Jimmy Johnson not doing well? Why is Kevin Harvick not running well? Right there, that move, that is risk versus reward. Yeah. And when you're young,
you're not trying thinking about it. You're just going for it.
You're going for it. You're like, oh, there's a spot, I'm going.
Yeah.
But if you're older, you're a vet, you're like, you've been there before.
It's like it could end bad.
Your chances are slim of making that move. But Ty Gibbs, young, doesn't give a shit. I'm making that move. And that move won him that race. And it was just impressive from such a new, young, fresh driver to be able to go out there and dominate the way that he's kind of, I'm willing to admit he's dominating when he gets behind the wheel of a car.
Yeah. I mean, we saw it when he was running part-time in the Xfinity Series last year, rattling off wins out of nowhere with no truck experience or anything. And I got a question in the pickle lane a little bit later on that we could dive a little deeper into Ty Gibbs with, but we got to keep it rolling. On to Sunday, baby. The Cup Series. We're all wearing our Willie B t-shirts because old slick William Byron, well, he held on for dear life at the end of that race for his first win of the season, locking himself into the playoffs. The 5th winner in 5 races. Real exciting so far, boys. What'd you think about it? Let's jump right in. We got I had to put the time for this one. It was 3 hours, 57 minutes, and 14 seconds. It was a long one in Atlanta. on Sunday. 11 cautions for 65 laps, 46 lead changes among 20 drivers. Your top 5, William Byron, Ross Chastain, Kurt Busch, Daniel Suarez, and Corey LaJoie. Corey LaJoie's best finish in the Cup Series so far. Big congratulations to Corey. What'd you guys think? You want to jump into the race grades or right into it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Matt, let's go for it. What do you think about the race?
I gave it a very solid A. I know I told you guys directly after the race that I was giving this Ray an A+ times 5.
Yeah.
I've had a little time to reflect and settle down and let my emotions kind of die down a little bit. And
I think you gave it 5 A+.
I think I did too. I think I just said A+, 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 A+.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I loved it. But, looking at it realistically, I'm giving it a very solid A. Especially because I tried tampering my expectations going into it, hearing about, there was going to be drafting, it was going to be a super speedway package, on a mile and a half, on a new surface. I just didn't really know what to expect, and for me personally, it exceeded everything that I was expecting there. So I loved it. We had almost 50 lead changes. I mean, come on, that's obviously a record at Atlanta. We saw the return of the slingshot to a degree, which is awesome. You got to give the slingshot a shout out. I know Clint Boyer almost fell out of the booth.
They were real excited when that happened to call it.
Oh yeah. I mean, we had side-by-side racing 12 deep for like 90% of the race, which is always fun. And guys, I'm ready to declare it. Bubba Wallace is a pack racer. He's a pack racing ace. He's finishing second. I mean, he almost won the damn thing on Sunday. He got caught up at the end of the race there with a super hard hit coming to the line, but he was in really good position to actually win that race, and it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't going to be anything like that. I'm ready to call it. He's a pack racing ace.
You know what I thought was really surprising too, when you said we had real good pack racing? It was super clean too. Besides those blown tires, I don't think we would have saw really much of a big one, Does that make sense?
Sure. I think the only thing that was a little weird to me was not seeing the big runs form on the straights like we're used to at Talladega and Daytona.
I'll get into that during my race grade.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we have a mile less of a track than we do at Talladega and Daytona, so that would be why those big runs didn't occur.
Happen.
And with all this being said, with all this love that I'm giving this weekend, all the positivity that I felt with it, I realized that on Twitter it was very polarizing. There was a lot of people who absolutely hated it, a lot of people that loved it, not a lot of in between. I will say this. I saw a lot of people saying, we need to do this. This fixes mile and a halves. This is awesome. Well, guess what? Mile and a halves, for the most part, don't need fixing. I don't want to see this package going to all these other mile and a half tracks. Let's keep it to Atlanta. Let's do Atlanta. Let's have the 6 super speedway races, and that's it. Because at the end of the day, we don't want, quote unquote, not that this was manufactured racing, because I absolutely hate that term. Yeah. But we want to keep it natural with other tracks. Let Atlanta have this, and that's it. And so other than that, solid A, and I'll flip it over to you guys.
Yeah, if you make everything the same, then nothing's different, nothing's exciting.
Right. Right. I'll get into the different style tracks later on in the pick lane segment too. I have stats, stat man Matt. I brought stats with me today too to kind of show how diverse our schedule really is.
Yeah, because I saw the same kind of tweets where we should do this at Texas to fix Texas and stuff. No, just leave them alone. We did it to Atlanta. That's good enough. Right. Right. How about you, Eric? What was your race grade? What did you think about the race?
Earlier in the day, we obviously we have a text thread together, and if we text all during the week during the race, and we give our opinions on things. And one thing I didn't realize was, Whitey, you were gung ho on and looking forward to this being a super speedway race, and I didn't realize that until a little earlier today that you had that viewpoint going into the race, because I didn't. Kind of just do racetrack, new surface. Let me just see what it is. You know, I kind of obviously knew what their intentions were as far as the design of the racetrack. But I think going into this race kind of with a blindfold on of not really expecting anything, just waiting to see what the product on the racetrack was, really, really helped me enjoy the race. I gave it an A. If I'm going back to what I'm seeing this year in the other racetracks, there's nothing that this race gave me that the first three didn't. And those A's, and you know, the lead changes alone, 46 lead changes. Come on, how do you, that's an opportunity to win? That's parity. That's everything you want in the sport of racing to happen. That's 46 potential different winners that had an opportunity to run up front in a Cup Series race. So, I agree with Matt almost word for word what he said about it. It produced edge of the seat racing for me. I was on the edge of my seat.
It was edge of the seat. It really, it was exciting.
Isn't that what you want? Isn't that what you want?
It is what you want.
I want the excitement. I want to be always wanting. I'm basically always ready to say, "Oh shit," during a race, because you're like, "Oh my god, oh how did that happen? How did that happen?" And like you knew there was opportunity for something to go haywire at any moment, but you also have to respect the fact that it didn't. Besides the blown tires, the talent of these drivers, this new car, this new speedway. I thought NASCAR went out and they gambled. They had an idea in mind. They didn't know if it was going to work or not.
It really was a big gamble too. This whole endeavor was a huge gamble.
In my eyes, it worked. I would rather watch that race over and over again over the last few old Atlantas we had. And that is saying something. And you're right. You're going to get those old boomer fans that want to see two cars on the lead lap just fighting it out. And to me, I don't look for that necessarily in what I want to see in my racing. I want entertainment, whether it's side by side, whether it's just being able to pass and get up front to pass the leader. It was excitement all day long, all throughout the field. If there's one thing bad that I almost dropped it down into the B category was something that I know, Whitey, you're going to touch on it a little bit later on, was the fact that there was just no green flag stops for strategy and that kind of stuff to get involved a little bit. But, man, that was just pure excitement and just, man, did I enjoy watching that race.
And that's why I've been struggling, because I enjoyed watching the race too, and it was exciting. I want to give it an A, but at the same time, I also kind of want to give it a C. I've been, ever since the race ended, I go, man, I don't know what I really think about it.
Okay. The A, I feel like you will agree with why Matt and I gave it an A.
I do. I do.
What's the dark horse bringing you down to almost giving it a C? Because we gave Phoenix
a C.
The C grade.
Yeah.
And to this race is nowhere near.
No, right.
Phoenix was. So I'm like, I can't even get close to giving this a C, even if I wanted to or tried to. So what was it you that made it almost be a C?
Was it expectations?
It was. I don't think it was expectations, because even last week I was saying, like, do you think we'll actually see super speedway style racing? Do you think we'll see tandem drafts? We'll definitely see the draft come into play, but like, will it still be like an old mile and a half? And so like, I wasn't expecting super speedway racing, but I saw super speedway racing style on a track that wasn't a super speedway. And I think it just confused me. And that's why I'm struggling so much, because I was entertained. I enjoyed it. But you know how like we have certain yardsticks that we measure a race by, where like I know like, oh, I enjoy that race because of this, I didn't have those things to go by, I think. Does that make sense at all?
Sure.
No, it does. So here, Whitey, let me interrupt you for a second here and try to sort out what you might be thinking about.
Yeah.
The next time we go back to Atlanta, now you know what's going into this. If you
think it'll be better.
It would be better for you, right?
I think so.
You like strategy in a race. You also like pack racing and super speedways. So you just you were maybe looking for a little bit of everything, and you only got a little bit of something out of it.
Yeah.
But to point two, don't harp on that, because guess what? Like Matt said, the diversity of the schedule, you have your certain tracks where it is
exactly
versus super speedway versus short track. So now you know where to fit this racetrack.
It's like
into
an in-between.
What category of racing to give you some kind of notebook or notes on what to think going into it.
Because so I wrote out a couple different things. Like last night I was in bed, I couldn't sleep, and I wrote out a whole big paragraph of what I thought of the race.
Oh my God, that was a book.
And then I wrote another big paragraph today on the outline that's completely different. Like I was just all over the place when it came to this.
Why don't you split the difference and give it a B, man? It's okay to not have an extreme opinion about it until you see it again.
But I don't think it was a B. I think it was better than a B, but a little bit worse than a B. If that, makes sense too,
Nope.
Because like Eric said, I love super speedway racing. Like Daytona and Talladega are my two favorite places to watch a race.
You can't give it an A though. It's because of that.
Because it wasn't.
You saw something you like, but in a wrong setting. So it's like seeing a stripper in the middle of church.
Yeah, it's just not right.
Like it, but it's the wrong setting.
It's like, hey, put that away. This is church. That's exactly right, man. Though no, honestly, because like you would see the side by side going into the turns and everything, but then you'd get to the backstretch, like you said. I think what it was missing was another mile of racetrack to set up those long runs. Where when I was watching it early on, especially stage one. Yeah, we had 46 lead changes and 20 different drivers, but I didn't really feel like there was much passing going on, especially in the middle of the pack. I just felt like it was too small to make those moves to shuffle yourself up to. And then during stage two, there was a big one. I think there was a big one. There was at some point, the leaders came in for gas and tires or whatever, but some people stayed out. And I go, okay, well now is this third turn? Are the leaders now going to be able to cut through the pack and make it back up to the front? And they did. So that kind of eased my mind a little bit there, where I'm like, okay, so you're not stuck in the middle of the pack when you're there. Like you can shuffle up and work your way to the front. I just feel like maybe the backstretch wasn't big enough to where you could kind of go three wide, shuffle guys out and have them fall down that sucker hole. Like we saw a little bit of it, but not a whole lot. And what?
That's why I liked it though, because
it was different.
To be more calculated. You couldn't just wait for the bottom line to get a big run. Oh, I know this run is coming. I shuffle this guy out, and I'm going to take advantage. You had to be precise.
Yeah,
you had to know
which
exactly
is
the
good.
Car in front of you. I'm working with you. I heard it on the radio. Chase Elliott and Chase Briscoe. They're two different manufacturers, but guess what?
They're working together.
Were working with one another. Briscoe told Elliott to get a bumper and a mirror away off of the corner so that the air helped Chase Briscoe push Chase Elliott and give him better handling. So, you didn't necessarily have manufacturers work with other people. You just had teams that had good cars, good chemistry. It was more precise.
Yeah.
You had to know exactly when to go. Okay, I'm going to hook up with this car. I'm going to hook up with you. I'm going to make a run. You're going to have literally your spotter has to be paying attention. You're going to maybe have a car length ahead to get in. I'm going to help you get in, but you better help me late. It was a little bit more precise. Super speedway racing rather than just, man, you know what? I'm going to tag along to this top line because it's going to pull me to the front. You could do that sort of because the bottom was so shitty at Atlanta.
I think
that the top was the dominant line, but you still had to pick and choose between four cars. I felt like you had to pick a guy and just kind of go back and forth. It was just a precise super speedway racing where it was a little bit more driver skill and handling of your race car.
Handling was definitely huge,
which is hard. That's tough because the super speedway guys that you expected to do really, really well, they were doing good, but handling was more of an issue at Atlanta than it usually is at super speedways. They really don't handling is like it's kind of like whatever.
It's all about aero, yeah. And I think that's what kind of contributed to just the confusion where I'm trying to grade it but it's an in between, And
so have you graded it yet?
I give it an A-okay. It was A-okay in my book.
Okay.
Sure. I'm gonna hold this one out, and I'm gonna wait until we go back in July and see what happens, and see if I can understand the racing more, because I like to know like I could see the runs coming, like I know like, oh, they're making this move so they could accomplish this, and on Sunday I couldn't do that, and
right, but that's what you should like about it, because it's not a known
different.
Thing. It adds another element of racing, like that added the excitement to me. It's because like. At Daytona, when a run's coming, what you have to do. At Atlanta, there was no major runs. It was, hey, if I go to the top's working good. Oh shit, now the bottom's working good. Oh, now the bottom's not working good because some guy has a problem. Oh, yeah. I don't know. To me,
I felt like the bottom never worked well at all. Like that bottom groove was just
it screwed Chase Elliott at the end.
Yeah. It screwed a lot of guys. Like I felt like
it did. I shouldn't just single out Chase. It screwed a lot of guys.
I felt like they were trying to make a run, and then the runs never came, and that was a little disappointing too. Because then it felt like a mile and a half that everyone complains about, like, oh, dirty air, you can't pass, And I'm like,
it was different.
And that's when I'm like, well, did we solve a problem, or we just make a new problem? Like,
right.
I don't know.
I think that race made you feel like an A. If I'm listen, I've known you.
Yeah.
We've done the podcast.
We had a fun
year. You thought this race was an A. You're stuck and too fixed on it being a super speedway race when it really isn't supposed to be. They used the package.
Its own animal.
Yeah.
Right. It's its own entity. There's super speedways, there's short tracks, there's dirt racing, there's road course. And now there's Atlanta. It's its own thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's polarizing. But I mean, entertainment wise, it was an A. It was an A. I was thoroughly entertained.
That's what I want on Sunday. That's what I want.
Yeah,
me too.
But yeah, at the same time, like at a certain point, I was like waiting for wrecks to happen to mess other people's like fantasy lineups. Because my lineup was all messed up. And I don't like rooting for accidents, to be honest with you.
I know we'll get into this later, but like the whole, never mind. I know we'll get into it later with the whole sports entertainment thing. So I have a comment, but I'll wait.
All right.
We'll get there.
Let's jump into the checkers and wreckers for the weekend. Okay. Eric, what was your checkers and wreckers for the weekend?
Perfect time to get into checkers and wreckers. We're all checking and wrecking what it was anyway. Yeah. So, my checkers goes to, it was not a cup. This is just for the weekend. That Ty Gibbs move. I know this sounds like a homer pick and like taking the top dog when he's there, but that move might have solidified me as Ty Gibbs winning me over as far as someone that I could possibly root for down the road.
Yeah.
Because that move that he made, if you didn't watch the Xfinity race, he was in the second row and he just split the difference of two cars to go down to the inside by, I would say, half an inch on either side of his car. Quick instinct. He might have even told his spotter, get screwed because I'm making this move because I see it and this is what I'm going with.
The run's coming and I'm taking it.
Yeah, it was just it was the race winning move. If he doesn't make that move, he doesn't win. Those are the moves I like my driver to do and make in a race. And man, was that just incredible. So I had to give my checkers to Ty Gibbs there in that Xfinity race for that move to get that win.
There's a certain, I don't know if it's stigma would be the right word. But because Ty Gibbs is Joe Gibbs' grandson, he gets a lot of unfair criticism for obviously nepotism, and, which, yeah, I mean, obviously, your grandfather
The
builds
the Dillon brothers get it too.
Yeah, your family builds a race winning organization, and you want to race for a living. They're going to give you a car. Like, that's what's going to happen. That's why they built this organization for for their future family. You know, so I can't fault him for that. But I do like to shit talk him regardless. You know.
But when you have a family that does that, and you go out there and you start smacking the field around,
you perform.
You're not running fucking Rick Ware running in the back. No, Ty Gibbs is getting in that
He's
car.
proving that he belongs.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the point I was going to make, because you could have all the family money in the world and they throw you in top equipment. If you don't have the talent to back it up, you're not going to win in that car, regardless. I don't care how fast the car is, you know? So he has the skills. He's very young and is possessing these types of skills. Like, this is someone we're going to have to watch out for in the future. And you know me, if you listen to this podcast for any amount of time, I am always pump the brakes on rookies, pump your expectations and everything. But, I mean, the kid moved up from ARCA last season and was beating Xfinity veterans. Every week he was entered into the race. And this season, I feel like it's going to be the exact same thing. You know, we see a lot of people move up from ARCA into trucks and struggle for years. We see some Cup drivers move down from Cup and struggle in trucks. So, like, I don't know. Ty Gibbs, he's legit. He's legit. You know?
Yeah.
All right. So my wreckers, man, I don't know. It's bad luck. A lot of it to do with it, but another reason why I gave this race an A, when I graded this, was because it was hard for me to pick a wrecker. Whenever it's hard for me to pick a wrecker, that means it was a good race.
Yeah.
I went with Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin, he was running well. I know he got caught up in a crash. I mean, to his own doing, pushing a little too hard, but that made me think, okay, yes, you're pushing hard, but like, I thought this was a race where Denny Hamlin could have a resurgence and really turn his bad luck and his bad year around. He's such a good super speedway racer. This is supposed to emulate super speedway racing. I thought Denny was going to have a stellar day and an opportunity to win.
Yeah.
And he ran up front. He was running well until he crashed out. But at the same time, that's just bad luck following Denny around. And there's less, and that door is getting closer and closer to becoming fully closed for Denny to win a championship.
Yeah.
And, I just think maybe the frustration is building within that 11 team where they expect to run top 5. They expect to win races. And after a season where you dominate, you're the points leader all year, but you don't win, that still plays a huge, heavy role on your mental, preparedness for a race. Because if you're running first in points, you have good weeks, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you want to win. All these drivers want to win. And Denny, I just think maybe this frustration and maybe not getting these wins is kind of backfiring and finally taking a toll on maybe that 11 team. And I could probably wreck all of JGR in general for just, they're not having the best of luck.
No, I think, did we bring it up last week with Denny Hamlin a little bit? I feel like we might've touched on it, but just more turmoil for Toyota kind of. And what we brought up last week, I'm almost certain was, or maybe it was in a personal text message, I can't remember, but like, he ran consistently in first all last season without winning a race. That's how consistent Denny Hamlin was. Like, I don't think Kyle Larson took the regular season points standing lead until the second to last or the last race at Daytona before the regular season cutoff. And now he's just, it's like a night and day difference how different he's running. He got 2 stage points in the first stage, finished 9th, stage 1, finished, 29th overall in the race. And the rest of JGR didn't really do very well at all either. All the Toyotas really struggling at this point, and it kind of makes me worried for Toyota as a whole on the manufacturing side.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the drop off. Just from 2 years ago in 2020, he had 7 wins. Last year he ended up having 2 wins, and now obviously we're only 5 races in, but he's struggling. He's not even cracking the top 10 in a lot of cases. So it's a concern. I know he's busy. He's got a lot of things going on off the track as well as or out of the car seat, I guess, because he is running 2311, which has got to be taking up a lot of his time as well. So,
spread yourself thin. Something has to give somewhere.
You want to give him the benefit of the doubt, saying that as talented as he is, he'll figure it out. But we said that about Kevin Harvick last year, and it never really happened. I mean, I guess it kind of did, but he never won last year. Yeah. He did start getting better results, but he never ended up winning. So. We'll see.
It's hard to judge a guy's career too, because like we've seen so many times in the past, there's a dramatic drop off and it kind of comes out of nowhere sometimes, like I don't want to say Denny's done, but is Denny done? Maybe,
right.
And I can make an argument for any of the Gibbs drivers at this point.
Sure.
And we'll do that later on in the pick lane. So stay tuned to hear what kind of hot takes I have about JGR. Matt, how about you? What's your checkers and wreckers for the weekend?
Yeah, my checkers goes to Marcus Smith of SMI and NASCAR. So both entities work hand in hand to make sure that we, the fans, are getting the fun product on Sundays.
Yeah.
And they've taken a couple major swings in the past 2 years, and in my opinion, they've hit home runs. Whether you liked this past weekend or didn't, one thing you can't say is that NASCAR's been boring.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at over the past 2 years how fresh the schedule has been. And what we're going to be doing the rest of the season. I mean, Eric, 2 years ago, if I told you you're going to be going to Bristol to see a dirt race in the Bristol Coliseum, you would have called me crazy. And here we are. So they're taking swings. I think they're hitting home runs, and I've got to give it to them. Some people hate it. That's okay. But NASCAR's become fun and fresh, and there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
How about your records? What's your records for the weekend?
So, Eric, you said that you had a hard time finding a records. I didn't at all. My records is going to Chase Briscoe. Not for anything he did or didn't do on or off the racetrack in Atlanta this weekend, but if anyone saw, Fox had an interview that aired during the pre-race show with good old Chase Briscoe.
I didn't see this.
And they interviewed him, and they got onto a topic that's near and dear to my heart: food. And
I did see this.
Oh my God! Yes.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
It turns out old Chase Bundy over here might be a serial killer.
Yeah.
So listen to this. There's a list of food and drink that Chase Briscoe has never had. And how old is he? 23, 24, 22, something in that range?
Old enough to have had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Okay, so here's a list. So he's never had alcohol, which is fine. It's not for everyone. He's never had coffee, which, again, my dad's not a coffee drinker. Coffee's not for everyone. So those are okay. It's
just kind of gross, acidy bean water when you think about it.
Sure. It's not for everyone. So, okay, those two are fine. I get it. But never had a peanut butter and jelly.
Chase Briscoe, 27, by the way.
Okay, so he's 27.
Older than I thought.
Yeah, a lot older than I thought. Wow, that just blew my mind. He's never had, this one got me, never had a hot dog. A hot dog. He just tried an apple for the first time just recently. He just tried salad for the first time just recently. I don't know about you guys, but someone needs to call the FBI on this guy.
Okay, well, I have a good buddy of mine, Brandon, who he is a rival to Chase at this point, because Brandon has blown my mind more times than anybody in the entire world when it comes to shit that he hasn't tried. Like, even just tried. Like, I remember the one night we were watching a movie or something, and Luke and I were eating, we opened up a thing of blueberries, and we're enjoying some, blueberries.
Blueberries are delicious.
Yeah, they are.
And Brandon goes, I never had one. And I go, what? And then I start asking him, I go, what about a strawberry? Nope. What about, nope. Literally, the kid eats French fries and chicken nuggets. But his chicken nuggets, no sauces. He doesn't eat ketchup, doesn't eat ranch, doesn't eat mustard, mayo, nothing. Dry, just live. And it's
dry nugs.
Like,
Oh,
yeah, what do you do? Like, this is like the war. Like, I don't even know what I would rather than that palate, but like, give me anything other than just that palate.
nobody likes their nugs to be dried out.
Hot dog. Come on. What does he do when he goes to Martinsville? He doesn't get a hot dog and rifle it down that gullet or what?
I don't know. I guess not. I wonder what he eats, you know, like.
He's sweets. He's a big sweets guy, Brandon, right?
Yeah. And I would imagine Chase Briscoe's probably a big candy eater too. You know what I mean? Like,
well, wasn't he at like what was that drive-through he was at in Daytona during the rainout in 2021 last year? Was it like a PF Chang's or something? Remember he went through a drive-through in his fire suit.
I remember Bubba went Ross Chastain went to McDonald's.
No, Chase Briscoe did too during the rainout last year in Daytona. I forget. It was like an Asian drive-through, and people were busting his balls like, "Yo, like you're eating Asian food, like you have to get into a race car soon. Like that's not going to end well." Yeah.
It might have been PF Chang's.
Anyway, that was my Wreckers. You know, I just thought it was really, really weird. You know, I draw the line at never having a hot dog. I mean, hot dog is the great American food, man.
I mean,
like, my wife doesn't eat red meat, but she eats hot dogs. So I don't like everyone likes hot dogs.
So coffee,
you get that good spiral on the grill.
Coffee, alcohol, I understand. Hot dogs to an extent, I do understand. I could see like looking at a hot dog and be like, yeah, I'm not putting that in my mouth. Like, no, thank you. Because like what do you hear? You go, what meat's in a hot dog? Everything. Like it's all the weird bits. Like that doesn't. I love a good like hot dog, like a ballpark hot dog at a baseball game. But I don't know. I don't want to know what's in it. Like I look at it, I go, this is disgusting. I enjoy it, but it's fucking gross. Like I know.
A hot dog is just like this weekend's racing. You eat a hot dog, you taste it. Once you taste it, I love hot dogs.
Yeah.
Do I in it? Yes. Do I not like some of the shit that was involved in that hot dog? Yes. But after I eat that hot dog, I will say that hot dog was fucking good.
Yeah. That's true. This race was good. I give it an A.
Boom.
But I will give Chase Briscoe an F for never trying a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like that's weird. You know,
a salad, an apple, very, very weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about the apple. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he just eats chicken tenders and Chinese food. But I could survive on Chinese food too. Man.
I could too.
Soy sauce noodles. Oh, give it to me.
100%.
Yeah.
But man, this show is off the rails. My checkers and wreckers actually goes to the on track. And kind of like what Matt said, Atlanta's reconfiguration achieved what it set out to do. Super speedway style racing on a 1.5 mile track. And to a bigger point, it brought out the biggest crowd I have seen in years, maybe even decades at Atlanta. So great for Atlanta. From what I hear, though, from at track, they need to step up the amenities before they get to July. Apparently, they weren't expecting that big of a crowd because certain food vendors ran out of food. There wasn't enough police directing traffic and stories like that. Some overflowing bathrooms, which is disappointing to hear about.
That was almost my Wreckers, but I was like, once I saw that you kind of were going to touch on it, that would have been my Wreckers, because there's a lot of people complaining about the amenities there, and that's not a good look.
But as Whitey said, you know, in their defense, Atlanta hasn't drawn in the biggest crowd over recent years, so they probably cut back on staff there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then boom, you know, they get this huge crowd that looked beautiful on TV, and oh my God, we don't have enough food. Oh my God, we don't have enough staff to direct traffic and whatnot. It's on them, like you said, to fix that for the July race.
And I hope they do, because like
I'm sure they will.
Like, you love seeing these crowds back at these tracks. You want to keep them coming back, and hopefully it doesn't deter them from coming back in July, when hopefully they do get it all figured out. And my Wreckers, Eric touched on it earlier on. No green flag pit stops at all this weekend. I think that might be why I was still on the fence too, because I do like strategy. I do enjoy seeing green flag pit stops during super speedway races and just racing in general. I think it adds another element, and that was something that was missing from the race that I was disappointed in. And I just want to see them get onto that pit road because it looks so tight coming off of 4. Like you have no room. Where basically like you wave your hand and then you're going like you better hope the guy behind you is paying attention because if not,
yeah, just the transition to the apron
is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might destroy that diffuser in the back of your race car that is basically all your aero.
Oh yeah,
you come down awkward off of that the banking into the to make that transition onto pit road. Oh, that could get sketchy. And you're right, Whitey. I was looking for that because they kind of touched on it a little bit on how it might be hard to get to pit road with the way the banking is there now and how tight it is. And you know what? We never got to see it. And I was kind of excited to see how they handled it. And that might be another little wrinkle to the race that, maybe would have made a difference.
I think so too. And the thing is too, especially with super speedway racing and the way like I like to grade it and everything, like you do see the same guys up front near the end, and that's part of the strategy. That's part of like the pit strategy and everything. Like just knowing when to take tires with your teammates, or not even take tires, but like take gas, and when to pit with your teammates and stuff. Like that can make all the difference in the world at Talladega and Daytona. And that's an element of the race that we missed this past weekend that I wish we could have seen. So I think that also is kind of like where my head was at, being on the fence with grading it. But I just hope we get to see some green flag stops in July. I hope it doesn't become one of those things where like you start paying attention and NASCAR always throws a phantom caution just to get all the cars back on pit road. And in case, like, I don't know, do you think
see, that's the thing about Atlanta that is different from super speedways. You don't have such a big racetrack to allow that to kind of happen. It's kind of like, okay, everyone's kind of close. Everyone's going to be racing by one another. You might not have opportunity to go green that long to kind of make that a strategy
part of the strategy.
You
want to know? I didn't even think about it because the lap times are so long, you have time to pit under green and not get lapped by the leaders too. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of unknowns with this Atlanta race still. We'll see how it shakes out in the years to come too. But yeah, that's all I could complain about, which again, like Eric said, when you reach for straws with complaints, it means it was a good race. So I guess I got to give it an A, even though it feels wrong. I don't know.
Just give it the B and let's move on.
I just got to give it time. I need time to process. I need more racing at Atlanta to figure it out.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's what I have for my checkers and wreckers. Just some race notes I had, really kind of about all the incidents. Ross Chastain, man, just one of many leaders to blow a tire and get into a fence, but he worked his way up all through the race to finish with another great second place finish. And we'll bring him up again in the checkers, or not the checkers and records, but the pick lane. But just really impressed by Ross Chastain on Sunday. What did you guys think about that?
Agreed. I don't want to give too much away because, like you said, we are going to talk about him in the pick lane. But
yeah,
he had another good run.
That's the gen. That's this.
The next gen.
It's the next gen, really showing how tough and durable it is.
I'm loving the composite bodies so far because it is giving some guys some wiggle room when it comes to this.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, dude, look at Kyle Larson doored Chase Elliott there when he got taken out of the race.
Yeah.
And Chase Elliott went on to almost win the race. I mean, was at one point in contention to win that race.
Yeah, they threw somewhat bearer bond on the side of the door. It kind of looked neat being on the side. I wish like the little silver and stuff. Yeah. That would have been a cool race win die cast to get if he could pull it off with the damage on the side and shit. I love that kind of stuff when it comes to die cast. But yeah, I mean, I'm loving this new car, loving the durability. The toe links seem to be the Achilles heel when it comes to getting into the wall. As long as those are fine, you're gonna keep going. I mean, look at Kyle Larson's car when he got into Chase. He already had nose damage and tape on the nose and everything. So like, I don't know, man. I'm loving it. Something I didn't love is an RCR teammate, Kyle Busch, and Austin Dillon's wreck. I don't think there was any contact. I think it was just like kind of an arrow push deal, but just hate to see that for them. Reddick, Stenhouse, both those guys had blown tires. Camber issue, we discussed that earlier on. Christopher Bell, what did you guys think about that line penalty?
It's fair. It was a good call. It was the right call.
I think it was the right call too.
Yeah, you have it there. You got to make that. You got to make that. You put it in the beginning of a race. You knew it was going to be there. You know what it is. I understand as a driver in the heat of the moment, you're not thinking about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
And what was it? Kyle Larson wrecked by Denny Hamlin while getting pushed. Denny again being super aggressive, and I don't know.
You can't beat him, wreck him.
Yeah, I guess it was really early in the race, and then both those guys ended up wrecked in the end. And another guy that got wrecked. Just talking about the wrecks right now. Cody Ware, huge hit. He was all right. He didn't do a post-race interview. I know we like to dog on Rick Ware Racing and stuff, but you really do hate to see that kind of accident. Because like
that was bad. That was bad.
Hard. Yeah. That was hard hit. That was a real hard hit.
Yeah, and we talked.
Like it was sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No,
it was a safety barrier that he hit because everything has to be. But if you watch that replay, like safety barriers usually have a nice give to them, because that's what they're designed to do. That wall didn't give much when he hit it. That was scary.
I think because it's a smaller section of safer barrier, like I feel like on the outside, the whole barrier goes around, so more of it flexes in. When it's just that short little piece, like there's not a whole lot of barrier to actually flex and deflect it. So yeah, you saw that car lift up, and then you saw the tires just explode as it
right as it settled down. Yeah.
And we like to have fun and bust Cody Ware's balls and stuff, but you never want to see anyone get hit. But just glad to see the safety in this car is good, because I know that was a big concern in the middle of last season when they were doing all the testing with this car. I remember. Do you remember that outrage in the middle of the season? Everyone's like, "Oh, a test dummy
people
died.
Are gonna die. Drivers are gonna die."
Yeah, they figured it out. The cars are safe. That's all that matters. And we were glad to see him walk away. And I'm sure he'll be back in the car this weekend at COTA. But that's all I have for race notes. Besides, like, I couldn't really think of anything to pull from the race besides those big incidents, because those impacted the race so much, where like guys would get taken out in big ones and stuff like that, where our top 10 was a really random top 10, where some of the guys just kind of survived till the end to get there. What did you guys think about that?
Yeah, I was a little irritated at the end. But I kind of got over it quick, just because it kind of was a super speedway style ending.
You expect.
Was Eric Jones with 15 laps to go there. He was restarting in fourth. And to go back to the composite body scenario, he was trying to avoid a wreck that was going down, and he ended up getting tagged by Kevin Harvick in the back, and he ended up tagging someone in the front, but his car was okay because of the composite body. And here, 15 laps to go, he's starting fourth.
Yeah.
He pushed he pushed William Byron out to the lead, and he had a good run at the end. I'm like, oh man, here it is. Like, super speedway, Eric Jones kind of stays alive to the end. And, does he have an opportunity? But, at the end, he pushed William Byron out, and it just so happened that EJ got the shitty end of the stick, and he's the one that got shuffled out. And when you get shuffled out, just like at a super speedway at Atlanta, you could get shuffled out there as well, and people pick and choose lanes.
Yeah.
And he ended up finishing 14th, restarting fourth. It is what it is. Should have had a better day. But other than that to me was all day that stuff was happening, where you have a run, you could push a guy, but if no one's there behind you to keep you in that line, you kind of faded back. So I don't know if he doesn't. I thought he had teammates during his super speedway at Daytona. People trusted EJ to run.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that was more of a factor in this Atlanta race that we're going to see in July. It's not necessarily manufacturers, but friends behind the wheel.
Drivers you could trust.
Yeah.
I think that could be true. I think we've been seeing that a little bit all season, really. But I think what happened was Ross Chastain just made the move too early. Because I was watching the highlights again today, and the ending of the race was so exciting. But they were all kind of like in line. Bubba was doing a whole lot of blocking. And then Eric Almirola kind of spun out. That caused another caution and stuff. But
Go ahead.
Go ahead. What was that?
It was nothing. I was just gonna say I was rooting so hard for Bubba.
Yeah.
I've gotten a little bit of an appreciation for him after, I know we talked about it last week after watching his Netflix show.
That documentary series was great.
To really appreciate him. Because you kind of see what he's going through from a mental aspect.
Yeah.
And God damn, I was really, really rooting for him at the end, and he almost pulled it off. Sorry, go ahead.
No, and it would be a great story too, because just the way Toyota's doing so far this season, obviously Bubba's not happy with his performance. He's probably the hardest critic on himself. When you watch that documentary series, you really see that too. And just a heartbreaker coming in second in Daytona 500 and then really struggling the last couple of races to pull off a win. It would have been great. And I would have loved to have seen it, but just watching those replays again, I think Ross Chastain just kind of pulled out of line a little too early, and that bottom line couldn't form. And Eric Jones just kind of got the shit end of it, where he jumped out with Ross trying to push, and it didn't materialize or anything, And
that's why I wasn't super upset about it either, because it happens. Like, what I'm taking away from yesterday, or not yesterday, from Sunday and this weeks prior, is just the fact that this season I haven't been this excited in a while, because this car has been allowing my driver to be in contention.
Yeah.
Running 10, for a majority of the race. The finishes haven't been there, but I just thought the race, even Sunday to this point, if there's any other little highlights, is the fact that the parity is still there. And, it's really showing off the talent of the people behind the wheel rather than the talent of the engineers back at the.
Looking back at the top 10 again, it wasn't as wild as I thought it was, as I remembered it. I think Corey LaJoie being in the top 5 really threw me off there. No disrespect to Corey LaJoie. But Daniel Suarez, 4th place, another great finish. Kurt Busch right up there. He's always pretty good at superspeedway. I felt bad because my guy Tyler Reddick spun right in front of him. I thought he was going to screw his day up. But he pulled off another good performance. Chase Elliott, 6th place finish. Chris Buescher, we always see him up front during superspeedway races.
Finished the race going backwards.
Yeah, so did Corey LaJoie. It was insane.
Yeah.
Like that whole ending was just insanity. Martin Truex Jr., I didn't realize he got himself a top 10. Coming back a little bit from struggling the past couple weeks. So good for Marty. Joey Logano in 9th and Alex Bowman in 10th. And then just a whole lot of survivors after that. But I thought it was a great race. I got to go back.
You're torn, man. I know.
I'm giving it's just so conflicting because, like, as I talk about it, I'm like, yeah, it was a great race. So yeah, I'm kind of convinced. Exciting. I'm convincing myself that was an A.
It was entertaining. It was what some might say was sports entertainment.
Well, we'll get into that in the pick lane. But first, if you guys don't have anything else to add to the racing weekend, do you guys have anything else?
I do not, man.
Nah, we're good.
All right. Here on the Bump and Run podcast, every podcast talks about the winner of the race. We'd like to talk about the last place driver of the race. And this week it was one Noah Gragson. He was taken out early on Sunday in his first Cup start for Colleague. He had he started at Daytona for Beard Motorsports, but this is the first time he's in that Colleague car that's going to have a revolving driver. Car just got loose. I was watching the replay. He corrected it, and as he corrected it, that car just hooked and went right into the wall. And that was another huge hit. That was real scary looking. Just a bad weekend for him in general too. Coming off of 4 top 3 finishes in the Xfinity series, he placed 26th on Saturday also. So just having a rough weekend in general. But
he got caught up. There was one wreck. Oh my God. There was one wreck in the Xfinity race that caught up all four JRM boys.
Motorsports,
yeah, very expensive wreck.
But yeah, that's the last place guy. I hate it for you, Noah Gragson. I know I've shown my displeasure with him in the past, but this season so far in the Xfinity series, he's been running really well, and it seems like he's maturing with age a little bit. So I've began to start respecting him more as a driver, and I really did feel bad for the way his day ended on Sunday. And I feel bad for College Racing because I want to see those guys succeed really well as well. But that's all it is we have for the weekend in Atlanta. We got to look forward. But first, I got some topics. We got the Pick a Lane segment. The choose cone is out, fellas. I got a couple questions for you that maybe we could do a little debate on. The first one, Kurt Busch said he hopes when they come back to Atlanta in the summer that it's unrestricted, no tapered spacer on the super speedway package, or just run the regular cup package. Do you think we should drop the super speedway package and see how the track runs with the regular package? Just experiment.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
No. I loved what we saw on Sunday. I think
but
the racing was great. Why digress? You know what I mean? Why go back? That's what they wanted. I feel like the 550 high downforce package that we've been trying to run in recent years, Sunday is what they wanted that package to do, and it just didn't do it. Yeah. So let it go. Leave it there and let it go.
Go ahead.
For me, it's just a curiosity thing. I just kind of want to see how that track would run with the regular intermediate package that we're running. Like, I wonder if it would make any difference at all in the racing. Like, or would it devolve back to old Atlanta where it gets spread out and there's like 15 guys on the lead lap like we've seen in recent years, and it's just an awful race. Like, it's the curiosity that I kind of want to see, you know?
So I said earlier in the show that you know, I was taking a look, a little bit of a deep dive into the diversity of the NASCAR schedule this year, and now and I broke it down a little bit, and with Atlanta's 2 races, we essentially have now 6 super speedway races, right? Yeah. We have 9 mile-and-a-half races. We have 13 1 mile or less races, and I included Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's 1 1.25 in length, but I just lumped it in there. Yeah. We have 6 road courses and then 3 intermediates, and the intermediates are just Pocono, Michigan, and Fontana. I didn't know how to classify
2 miles, 2.5 miles.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a pretty spread out diversity of tracks right there. You know, if you take Atlanta and you turn it back into a classic 1.5 mile, now we just have 4 super speedway races and 11 mile-and-a-half races. Yeah. So, I mean, that really stretches it out a little bit. And so just leave it as it is. You know, like I said earlier, don't do this to Texas. Don't do this to Homestead. Let Atlanta have its cool little niche thing. And, you know, let's see how it goes.
I know. I get it. I don't know. I'm always thinking about the curiosity of it. I'm like, I wonder if just reconfiguring Atlanta would have worked too. Like if we just ran the old package. They must have done some testing too, though, right?
Oh yeah, they tested. Yeah, they tested.
Yeah, I agree, Whitey. To your point, if maybe Sunday was a legit C or a D race,
yeah,
I would say let's change it to try to make it better.
Right.
Yeah.
But when something is already an A,
why
or
touch
even
it?
Why touch? Exactly. You know, you got good racing out of it. People are going to be like, oh my God, I was at that Atlanta race. Wait till you come back in July and see what I saw. You want to come back to the same product that you saw and enjoyed and told everyone about. And when that person comes to the race next, they want to see what you had experienced. And I think that is great racing.
All right. Well, you guys convinced me. I'm sold. Keep it the speedway package. All right. Next pick a lane. Choose cone is out. Sports entertainment. was a term thrown out by Marcus Smith, and Twitter lost their fucking minds over it because of WWE. Do you think racing is sports entertainment? This is kind of a loaded question. Are people overreacting to words?
Yes and yes. Yes, people were overreacting to words, like way overreacting to words. And 2, yes, NASCAR is sports entertainment. Guess what? So is baseball.
Yeah.
So is hockey.
Yeah.
So is the NFL. So baseball.
Every professional sport is sports entertainment.
So what the gist of the complaints were, for anyone who isn't on Twitter and might not know, is that people heard sports entertainment thrown out there and they said, well, this Atlanta race was manufactured. It was manufactured. It wasn't pure racing.
Yeah.
It was different. It wasn't what racing is supposed to be. And what I'll say to that was, like, the NFL, when it was first invented, when football was first invented, the most pure form of it was running the football and watching a 7-3 football game. But that's not entertaining. I'd rather watch Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs go out there and throw for 450 yards and the score be 38-35 at the end of the game. Baseball manufactures things. Baseball starting in overtime and extra innings, they threw a runner starting on second base. That's manufactured for entertainment. The NHL, hockey, at the end of a 5-minute overtime regulation, if we still have a tied score, you go to a shootout. That is for entertainment. That's not pure hockey. That's just for entertainment to decide a winner. And NASCAR does it with plate races. So enough with the purity of the sport, and let's watch some freaking entertaining racing. Come on.
And I agree with Chase the dog in the background. Like, he is all fired up over this thing. He's going crazy about it, because without entertainment, there's no point to watching the sport. Right. You know? You watch sports for entertainment value. You watch them to enjoy them. Like, it's not.
Let me jump in here 1 second. I was at the bar on Saturday and watching the race. I had NASCAR shirt on. I might have had an Eric Jones shirt or whatever. And there was a gentleman in there whose grandson is a very good dirt racer. Yeah, and he is against Christopher Bell and those like, and he's like, I NASCAR, I can't get in anymore. Like, they have spotters and they have that, like, so there's certain people out there that like will nitpick and shit on NASCAR for like the littlest of improvements to the racing. Like, okay, dirt track, he thinks like, okay, you bring your car to the racetrack. Yeah. You go out there, you race what you brought to the racetrack, and whatever you have, you have. If you make it, you don't, you leave, you go home. Yeah. There is no spotter. There is no chief. There's that chief, this person working on it. You bring to the racetrack what you build, and whatever you finish, that's what it is. And there's people out there, a ton of them, mostly on the older spectrum.
They want to see that.
Can't get over the fact that they are trying to improve the product on the racetrack. Like, yeah. It baffles me that people get so stuck up on it. And part of me is like, the media in NASCAR world, they have to stop kind of taking these knee-jerk reactions from those type of people and making it a thing. Yeah. When a majority of the fans most likely do not think that way. It's just, if anything could ruin this next-gen car and NASCAR, it's the fans.
It's like nitpicking all that little stuff. Yeah. Oh man, NASCAR drivers, they have spotters now. They're not real racers. Yeah, and football players don't wear football.
We don't have mirrors. Yeah, we don't have mirrors in our car. We go out there, we just race. We don't have a spotter tell me some guy's here. You just send it. Like, I get that. That's exciting. That is part of that, but that's you got to look at the other side. Open your mind a little bit, and those are the fans that might ruin this sport for us, to be honest.
Football players used to wear leather helmets. You know,
right.
It's evolution. It's the growth of a sport. You look at, just like Matt said, you look at any sport, they change the rules all the time to create more entertainment value. If you're
the minute you add banking to a racetrack, you're manipulating it. Yeah. You go from a flat track. Oh, you want a short track flat race? Fine. Oh, what happens if I put 18-degree banking in it? Yeah. What's that going to do? Is that considered manipulating it? Mm-hmm. Yes. It is.
Yeah.
But they're trying to enhance the racing. They're trying to make the racing better, not only for us to watch on TV, for the fans to see in the stands. And you know what? Part of me is like, who gives a shit what the drivers think the car is like? Because as long as
the product on track is good.
Yeah. Yes.
That's all that matters.
But every time you turn on the TV, whether it's to watch a sporting event, a TV show, a movie, isn't your main goal to be entertained?
Yeah.
You don't want to sit there and watch something that's going to put you to sleep unless you're legitimately trying to fall asleep. Then you throw something on that doesn't matter. But like, you want to be entertained. You want to be, on the edge of your seat. Like you said, Whitey, if you're not entertained, what's the point of watching?
Look at March Madness right now. How many games are on at the same time during March Madness? If there's a shitty game going on, it's a blowout. And then you look at the ticker and you see like, oh, this is a 3-point game over here. You're turning it on.
I'm going to flip over.
Because the 3-point game is more entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
A race when you have 7 guys on the lead lap at the end going and shuffling for the win, racing under a blanket at Atlanta, like we saw this past Sunday. You're turning that race on quicker than you're turning on the ones we saw last year, where Kyle Larson is in the lead by 15 seconds and there's 10 guys on the lead lap and no one's catching them. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Which one would you really prefer?
And the problem is Vince McMahon and wrestling has done such a great job as marketing itself as not wrestling, but as sports entertainment, that as soon as the general public hears those two words together, sports entertainment, they automatically think WWE wrestling, fake. Oh, NASCAR sports entertainment, it's fake. They're coming up with the finishes. Well, if they were coming up with the finishes, Bubba Wallace would have won yesterday. And then they would
have won every race in the summer of 2020.
Yeah.
Dale Jr. would have had 8
championships. Yeah.
Get the hell out of here! Like, it drives me crazy.
So,
and if you really think that it's manufactured and that everything's predetermined, stop watching.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a fan of the sport. We don't want to be a fan.
One person right now that if you ever saw one interview with him, you know that there is no fixed races. It's Kyle Busch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he gets so fired up and so mad about his race car in, like, Radioactive Boys. You've listened to his radio and he says about these cars. Like, he wants to win. That's somebody that wants to win.
That is a perfect example, Eric. Do you think Kyle Busch is that good of an actor?
Right.
Like, if he is, he should be in every movie because he's putting on an Oscar performance with his anger after getting wrecked out. He was still on track driving around yesterday. He goes, no, just took it in. He's like, I'm fine. They're like, we can fix it. No, I'm going home.
I'm done.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You could manufacture the track. You could manufacture the cars, but you can't manufacture the person behind the wheel.
No.
Just like in football, you can manufacture the rules, you can manufacture the field and the uniforms, but the player that is on that field and inside of those uniforms, you cannot manufacture that.
No.
That person at that highest of level is going to do whatever that person can to win. And winning, competition is something that is unique, I think, to sports, to just humans, to just survival. Just that is something that we all feel and we want. When you have to win, or not just win, but oh my God, I need to do this to provide my family.
Yeah.
Like you don't take that for granted. You take it super serious, and that is what these high profile athletes have going on in their head at all times. When it's go time on Sundays, whether it be the football field, the soccer field, the hockey rink, or NASCAR fucking race.
Yeah.
Those people want to win, and no one's going to tell them to throw a game or to lose this, or this is how it's going to go. It's asinine to think that way.
It is.
But it's entertainment. I'm entertained. I've been entertained this year. So at this point, I don't understand. Like, I want to wreck all of Twitter and NASCAR fans right now because What more? This is why I said the fans are going to be the ones to ruin the sport, because they don't know what they want. They keep going back and forth, and it's like how are you not happy with what you just saw from something that came out of thin air? Oh, Atlanta, old racetrack. Instead of just repaving it, they redesigned it. They curated it. Yes.
Yeah.
You want to say manufactured? Of course you could say that word.
Yeah. But they manufactured a track to get the racing that they wanted at that track. Just like you do anytime you build a track. Yeah.
Yeah, any racetrack is manufactured to race a certain way.
Yeah.
They just happened to do it to here, and it worked.
And
it worked. NASCAR fans, it worked. It was amazing. What do you stop complaining? We had an amazing race. Shut up.
I think we could leave it at that. I just heard one thing. It always rings true. NASCAR fans are only ever sure of two things: that they don't like the way it is, and they're never happy with, or something. I messed up the fucking quote to begin with. NASCAR fans are never happy with the way it is or with the changes. They just want it all in the past. And it's always been like that. You see articles from the 90s on forums back in the day where it's like, oh, this isn't NASCAR's not real racing anymore since they put the spacers on. We got to go back to the 80s before they put the spacers on. You know, like
the race on Sunday was an old school 90s race. Early 90s race where like you had two cars that could tandem, that could bump, that could push one another. You could back up, get a slingshot to pass that guy that you just slung out to the front. You have all of that old school type of tandem racing where you see Earnhardt come from 17th in 3 laps to coming up to winning. At Atlanta, that is possible. You know what I mean? That you could do that kind of stuff. Just embrace it, enjoy it. Quit living in the past, you boomers.
Hey guys, good news though. At least we're going to COTA this week, where there probably won't be anything polarizing to talk about next week, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. First road track of the season in the new car. I can't wait for COTA. But we got 2 more pick lanes real quick. Reddick or Chastain? Who gets the first win at this point?
Well, I called to Dave Moody's show last week because he asked this same exact question. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, Trackhouse versus RCR.
Yeah, and I went Trackhouse because I think Tyler Reddick is running a little bit better cars, a little bit better shot at winning, but the luck factor
isn't there. Yeah,
the luck factor isn't there. I think he has better equipment, better cars every week. But then once Tyler Reddick gets taken out of contention, the next best car is going to take that position, of recent, it's been that one of Chastain. So if I'm a betting man, I'm going to bet that Chastain loses that luck and the luck kind of goes the other way. And I think Tyler Reddick gets the win before Ross Chastain, which when I called into Moody the other day, I just think that luck comes in spurts. And Chastain is kind of using it up.
Yeah.
And Reddick is waiting for it.
I'm a little shocked because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm thinking Chastain might pull off the win first. I think like he's just putting together really good races.
So I'm the tiebreaker.
You're the tiebreaker, Matt.
Coming up, I think it benefits Reddick.
I think COTA does too. You know?
Eric just stole the words right out of my mouth. I don't just think Reddick's going to win before Chastain. I think Reddick's going to win this weekend.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that in the betting preview. I think he does have a good chance. I've already put my my $10 bet in for the week. If you bet tonight, you could win $240. $10 wins you $240. He's plus 2,400. I don't know, man. I don't know. I have high hopes. I'm keeping my expectations low, though. That's even this weekend. I wasn't even mad when Reddick got that tire blown out and everything. In fact, I got lucky. I was able to cash out my bet. I still made $6 because he was showing in the lead on FanDuel when I cashed out my ticket as he was wrecking. So like that eased the burn a little bit. But I mean, I don't know, man. Ross Chastain has just been running really consistent, really good, just put together good races the last few. 2 top 10, two second place finishes 2 weeks in a row. Like that's not a fluke. But
right,
yeah,
but they both had their issues, and Chastain just kind of got the luck, and
he was
had
able
those
to keep going. No,
Yes, so
no, that's true.
Chastain, well, he was 2 laps down. So, like,
Yeah.
you know, that's a little bit of luck you need on your side. Catch a lucky dog, catch the lead lap, come back, have a good, you know, not destroy your complete car when you hit the wall. So, Whitey, for you, I'm thinking the luck and the tides turn in your favor.
I hope so. In fact, you want to know what? I'm going to go off on a little tangent. I'm sorry. I have to retire my Caterpillar t-shirts. I think that's the problem. Every time I wear a Caterpillar t-shirt, he doesn't do very well. I think there's a cat curse, and I think I think the cat curse has existed since Ward Burton was driving in the 22 cat car back in the 90s. I think that sponsor is cursed. And every time I wear a Cheddar shirt or a new 3 Cheese shirt, he does fantastic. I wore an old Caterpillar shirt on Sunday, and he just had a rough day. And I think that's what it is.
You're not crazy, because this is wild, and I didn't want to admit it, so you just brought it up. I thought the same thing, Whitey. I have a ton of Eric Jones number 20 Joe Gibbs
stuff
and apparel and stuff, and
yeah,
you know, whatever's on my drawer, whatever's in my laundry, I'll grab and I'll throw on. But recently, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, every time I throw on an old 20, you know, Eric Jones shirt, or, you know, I'm like, I think I gotta go. I think I gotta rock the new. That's why, I'm like, I don't have any Focus Factor gear because I shit talked his paint scheme.
Yeah.
But now, like, wait a minute. Do I need to get at least just one Focus Factor t-shirt, just like with the times here?
Nah, you just gotta get another Tide t-shirt. That way you always have a clean one on Sunday.
There you go. Boom.
You know, just have 2 in the rotation. No, it's weird though. It's those weird little superstitions. If you're listening at home, hit us up on Twitter. 1, tell us who you think's gonna win first, Reddick or Chastain. And 2, do you have these dumb superstitions when it comes to Sundays?
Because, you know, my brother has weird superstitions when it comes to, like, March Madness. He's a big North Carolina fan. He has a little stuffed animal. He has like he sets up like almost like a shrine to March Madness and stuff. And, you know, people hold that like really, really close to themselves. And I never was, but up until this season, Whitey, if you never said that, I would have admitted it. But I've been thinking about it lately that I need to start wearing 43 only gear.
Yeah. I got a 3 Chief flag on order. They just released them, so they're coming.
I have a Notre Dame, like, it's like a wooden, like, I don't even know what the frick it is, but it's like wooden, and it has like a blue star on it that has the Notre Dame emblem, and it has like wraparound lights that you plug in and it lights up.
Yeah. And
it's maybe about, like, I don't know, 1.5 feet, 2 foot tall. And I plugged it in the 1 year to start the season, and they went undefeated.
Really?
And so since then, like,
you gotta keep plugging
I plug
it in.
I have to plug it in. Like, there's weekends where, like, you know, right now we're in between, like, you know, we live, my wife and I live down here in our apartment, but there's weekends where we'll go back to our hometown where you guys are. And during the football season, if it's Saturday, I'm like, Steph, like, I never
You didn't put it on Friday night.
Plug it in. Like, what do I do? You know, they'll win or whatever, but, you know, it's not really superstitious, but, like, I feel like it is. So we all have our little quirks like that.
It's like, did you guys, Eric, I know, watched Monster Trucks as a kid. Matt, did you watch Monster Jam as a kid?
Sure. Everyone
It's
did.
like when Gravedigger would come on, right? He's got those red glowing headlights. But if one was off, you know, he's down on power. He might not win this race, you know? Like, that's what your light is. You got to keep that light lit at all times, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And I have one last pick a lane. I think this one could be a pretty interesting one. Choose cones out. We talked about Ty Gibbs earlier. Another impressive run. We talked about how he skipped the truck series completely, and he's doing just fine. Do you think we see a 1-year run in Xfinity and then he moves up to Cup? And if he does, who does he replace in the Toyota pipeline?
Yes. I think he is that talented where he has a possibility of moving up. And I know everyone's saying, well, there's no open seats at JGR. Where do you figure he's going to fit? And I have 2 possible landing spots. Where
I
my
could
fingers
make an
in the camera?
argument for
2.
4 at JGR.
So you can make an argument for 4. I'll start with my first 2 because maybe they mirror what you think what is gonna be. So
Probably.
I have a theory. One, we'll start with the 19 car of Martin Truex Jr. I love him. I'm a closet Martin Truex Jr. fan. I have a feeling, for a lot of reasons I don't want to get into, I have a feeling that this will be his last year racing, at least full time. He is older too, so I think that there is a possible open seat right there. And then my second
I
one,
feel like Truex is the kind of guy too that would announce it with like 3 races left, no frills, just kind of go out.
Or even right at the end of Phoenix, win or lose, like, hey, listen, this is my, the team already knows this is my last race. It's been fun. And he's not like a guy that go into the booth or anything either. Like once he's done, like
he's going out fishing and hunting and working on his ranch or whatever.
Yeah. And then my second is one, we talked about him early, Denny Hamlin. Well, where the hell is he going to go? Joe Gibbs isn't going to fire him. I can see him opening up, getting a third charter, going over to 2311, running one of his cars over there, a la Tony Stewart with SHR, his last handful of years in NASCAR. So those are 2 possible scenarios, but I do think one way or another, we can see Ty Gibbs in the Cup Series as early as next year.
What about you, Eric? What do you think? Do you think Ty Gibbs can make the jump next year?
I think he could. I think he's definitely talented enough. I think, with him winning races, it's going to bring sponsorship along. And I think that is big. It's not just some up and comer who's good that like might get a ride, but no, this kid's winning races. He's dominating the series that he's in. He's young, which is enticing to sponsors that they know they're going to be getting, a ton of wins for a long time out of this guy's career.
Yeah.
I am going to go, not Joe Gibbs. I'm going to go with their affiliate. I think he takes over via the sponsorship with Monster.
Yeah.
I think he takes over for Kurt Busch in 2311.
Okay.
I think Busch is there to get that car, that team on track, get them ready, and the Monster affiliate is already there on the car, and that's what he runs down in Xfinity there most of the races. I can see him taking over for Kurt Busch, who once again is up there in age. He's running really well, but I could see him maybe warming the seat for Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, I could see that too. In fact, I could see Ty Gibbs replacing any 6 of the Toyota drivers. Like Matt said, Denny, he could easily move over to his own team, get another charter, or, take one of those cars. It's his team. He can do whatever he wants with it pretty much. Like you said with Martin Truex Jr., I could see him quietly retiring at the end of the year. If you listen to his interviews lately, he sounds kind of down and out a little bit. I don't know if I'm just reading into it. I know, Matt, you said the same thing.
Yeah, I got that too. Seems a little defeated.
Kyle Busch really struggling with these new cars. And I mean, I don't want to say I could see him retiring or quitting or moving to another team, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, yeah, you want to what? I've made my money. I'm done. My kid Brexton's racing. I have another kid on the way. I want to retire early and spend some time with my family and focus.
I'm going to go run KBM.
I'm going to run KBM, develop young talent, which, I mean, as a team owner, I think he does a great job doing that.
Sure.
So he has options outside of the car. Do I think he will? Probably not. I think he'll be around for a long time, but I'm just saying I could see it happening,
There's a route in the world where like it's possible.
Yeah.
Like it's not out of the realm of possibility. Sure.
Christopher Bell. We've seen what happens with that 20 car. It happened to Eric Jones. You get a couple years and you're out. Christopher Bell was supposed to light up the Cup Series when he moved, and right now he's sitting 30th in points. He has 69 points 5 races into the season.
Not nice.
Not good.
They could easily drop him. Say like, hey, sorry, we know you bring money, but I mean, go somewhere else. I got a grandson to give a car, and you don't think that Ty Gibbs could take over that 20 car? That's
right there, Mike. You nailed it. That's the deciding factor.
Yeah.
It's
and
the fact that he's the grandson. It's not just some other driver. It's
the grandson.
Hey, you want to race for my team? If I think you're ready.
Yeah.
Now that is the thing with my eyes too. Like, will his grandfather make him stay down?
He might, you know, and
sure, this is all hypothetical, what we're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the way that Joe Gibbs is as a coach.
Because Joe Gibbs wants you to develop as much as possible.
Yeah, yeah. As a coach, I think he might want him to stay down there for one more year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could see him sit in the Xfinity series until someone naturally retires or leaves or something. Because he's young. He's what, 18 and a half? Not even 19 years old yet. He's got time to develop. I'm just saying, like, I think it's his choice at this point. Maybe, I don't know. It's just fun to speculate.
Even the other two Toyota drivers, and then we can carry on here. You can make the argument like Kurt Busch had that really weird, ominous not retirement video at the end of or the beginning of last season. That like everyone was like, oh, okay, he's just going to retire, and then he just never did.
But at the same time, Kurt Busch is doing pretty good in this car. I feel like he's the best consistent Toyota driver so far this season.
Sure.
I could see Kurt Busch racing longer than Kyle Busch in the Cup Series.
Right.
You know, I don't think that's a wild thought, you know?
And then if Bubba doesn't turn his season around,
I mean,
you know, there's a chance where they can run him out of Dodge too and say, listen, we've got a more talented guy in the pipeline.
Exactly.
I was going to say that brings sponsors. Well, that's the one thing that's actually the one thing that is saving Bubba is the sponsors. He has sponsors lining up out the door right now for him, believe it or not.
But how long do sponsors stay without the results? You know, you got to think.
True.
You got to think long term. You know,
42 fucking years without getting that win.
Well, McDonald's is a very loyal sponsor. You know, McDonald's is sticking by your side no matter what.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm just thinking like it's a possibility. I could see all 6 Toyota drivers being replaced by Ty Gibbs at some point, you know, and I don't think any of those proposals that I threw out there are all that wild, to be honest with you. I don't think I have a tinfoil hat on. I think I'm just kind of looking into the future.
What backs you up is the fact that we talked about it the last couple of weeks here is look at the age that has been winning these races. It's 30 and younger.
Young. Another under 30-year-old winner.
I think owners and these people who are going to sponsor are looking at those numbers and are going to tend to go towards the new talent rather than the talent that's there.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all about relatability.
Boys, I am on my 4th seltzer of the episode.
I'm about to open my 3rd, and I usually just get to 3.
Which means we're getting close to the end here.
I'm on straight liquor now. I'm out of ice. It's my 3rd one. I'm officially out of drinking straight warm liquor.
All right, that means it's time to stop looking at the past and look to the future. That is Austin, Texas, coming up this weekend for the Circuit of the Americas. Saturday, Trucks and Xfinity doubleheader. Trucks on track 1 p.m. on FS1 for the XPEL 225, and Xfinity takes the stage 4:30 on FS1 for the Pit Boss 250. Cup practice and qualifying starts Saturday morning 10 a.m. and of course Sunday 3:30 on Fox. It's the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas, COTA. I get so used to saying COTA that I forget it actually stands for something. The Circuit of the Americas. What a great name that is, though.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking forward to the weekend. I know they got some wild weather down there today. Did you see those videos of the tornadoes and stuff?
Yeah. Scary stuff. Thoughts are definitely with everyone down there. Hopefully, you know, listen, my parents had a house that flooded, 12 years ago, so I know what devastation looks like. It sucks, and I hope everyone's safe down there.
Yeah, but it looks like we're going to get some great weather for the weekend, so staying positive for the people down in Texas. Hopefully everybody's okay, and just we've all lived through natural disasters up here, and it's devastating. We had a tornado here a couple years ago, and it's insane still seeing just the things that haven't been fixed yet, and the devastation that lays for years to come. But hopefully it's a great race down in COTA. I hate to get a little dark.
It's a weird transition.
Weird transition. Really no way to get out of it at this point. But we're looking to the future. But first, we got to look to the past because we did some betting for Atlanta. So we've been doing this season. We've been doing the head-to-head matchups. So Matt's going to give them to you for COTA. They're up now, right, on DraftKings, Matt?
Yep.
And then we've been picking the winner of the race, but we can only use a driver 5 times throughout the season. So we've been, I would say, kind of conservative with our picks so far until we kind of figure out who the cream of the crop is rising in this new car. But our picks last week, Eric came in last. He picked Kyle Larson. We told you about that accident. He got you 9 points. I picked Ryan Blaney, who's usually great at super speedways. He got me 30 points, so I came in second. And Matt, you went with your boy, Chase Elliott, and he got you 40 points. Was in contention to win. Got himself a nice top 10. Good day for Chase. And then, so...
What do you say? What'd you say?
I picked Chase Elliott.
Oh, did you? Oh. Okay. Then I mixed it. No, are you sure?
No, dude.
Yeah.
No, dude. I took the hometown boy of Chase Elliott. Eric, are we gonna believe the person who hasn't been drinking whiskey all night?
Yeah. This was the winner of the race. We all picked Chase in the head-to-heads.
Yeah, I wrote down on my thing Chase Elliott.
Who'd you write under Matt? Oh.
No, this is just me. My pick.
Oh.
And then when I'm wrong, I cross it out and I put the points. I wrote
Oh.
Chase Elliott down.
I'm pretty sure. Jesus, we're gonna have to go back and listen to the pod from last week.
He's crazy because I did go. He's
He
crazy
has to be
because I
crazy.
did go back and listen to the pod this morning to make sure I had our picks right. Unless I typed it on the sheet wrong. I don't know. Maybe I did. I don't know. It's
Oh my God, there's controversy. There's controversy here.
Hold on. Did I write them down? God, this show is a mess today. Oh no, Eric did pick Chase. Matt picked Kyle Larson. Oh my God.
No.
A discrepancy. I apologize for that.
Get
Well,
off those jingle medication, Whitey. Come on.
wow. Okay. Well, then Matt, you had a rough day in Atlanta. You got yourself 9 points. You go last. Eric won the weekend. You got 40 points. I will adjust that in the standings. So Matt, you pick first. I pick second. And Eric will pick last. But yeah. So we'll go through those bets.
Right. That's right. Call me out on my whiskey drinking. Get off the shingle meds.
Yeah. Well, hey, I didn't call you out on the drinking. That was Matt who called you out. I would never.
Life has been hectic, so I couldn't remember a week ago who I picked.
Well, a week ago,
I just trusted that Whitey was keeping the right track of things here.
No, but I did too 100%. But I'm like, wait a minute, I write this shit fucking down.
Yeah.
Listen,
Whitey and that shingle medication.
So the medication they have me on for shingles, I barely sleep. Like I am up all night long. And then this morning I was pounding Red Bulls doing this outline at work when I was supposed to be doing work. I was watching, I apologize. I am so sorry. Anyways, we also did some matchups. Delvin was the big winner for the matchups too. We did Briscoe versus Reddick, Elliott versus Hamlin, Ryan Blaney versus Larson, Stenhouse versus Bubba. Eric got 3 out of 4. He picked Briscoe, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, and Bubba. Larson did not finish better than Blaney. Matt, you picked Reddick, Chase, Larson, and Bubba. Reddick did not finish better than Briscoe, and Larson did not finish better than Blaney. I picked Reddick, Chase, Blaney, and Ricky, and Ricky wrecked out. Reddick, Reddick and Ricky both wrecked out. Chase and Blaney got me my points. Matt, give us the matchups this week so I could go to bed.
All right. So the matchups, the head-to-head matchups, the featured matchups, these are from DraftKings. The lines are brought to you by DraftKings here for the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix 2022. So we have Martin Truex Jr. versus Austin Cindric. Martin Truex Jr., the slight favorite at -120 over a -110 Austin Cindric. I am taking Austin Cindric with this one. He is really, really good at road courses. At least he was throughout his Xfinity career.
Yeah.
And he even did good. He led laps here last year as he wasn't a rookie, but as was it his first ever Cup race here at COTA last year?
No, because he ran Daytona too. I think it was his second Cup race.
So it was first or second Cup race of all time, and he actually led laps here last year. So I am taking Austin Cindric.
I'm taking Austin as well.
I want to take Austin Cindric as well. So I will. Yeah. All on board. Young talent, man.
We're all on Cindric. Next one, teammates. We were just talking about JGR. Loser leaves JGR. How about that? We have Kyle Busch versus Denny Hamlin. Kyle Busch, the slight favorite at -125 over a -105 Denny Hamlin. Kyle Busch is a sneaky good. No one really talks about him on road courses. Yeah, I'm taking Kyle Busch.
I'm taking Kyle Busch as well. He's good on road courses, but you know what else he's good at?
Shifting.
Rebounding.
If he has a shit day in the beginning, he'll somehow limp that car to a top 10. Yeah. I don't know how, good at doing it.
I'm taking Kyle Busch as well for the simple fact we're going to a road course. There's going to be a lot of downshifts, a lot of upshifts, and we already know Denny can't use that that transaxle.
Yeah.
So give me Kyle Busch.
Yeah, that's funny. And then last one, there's only 3 matchups this week. Again, teammates. Big time gap here. We have Kyle Larson at -225 over a William Byron. That's actually +180. I am taking that big time favorite in this matchup. I am taking Kyle Larson.
I'm taking Willie B in the 24. He's hot coming off a win. They're going to run well. I think, he has a ton of time in the simulators, and I think these young drivers, I know Larson's young as well, but something about Willie B at a road course, it just momentum. I'm all on the momentum train. When you have a good race, normally you follow it up.
You feel good, you look good, you drive good. I was leaning towards Willie B too. Just because he does perform really well at road courses, but Kyle Larson won at Sonoma last year, so give me Kyle Larson.
All right.
So there we go. That's the matchups for the week. Only 3.
Those are the matchups. Perfect. Let's make these picks and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, give us the odds for the top 10. Who are we looking at in the top 10 to bet on this week?
So real quick, your favorites, your top 10 favorites to win at COTA. You have a 3-way tie. I'm sorry, you have a 2-way tie at the bottom of here with Ryan Blaney and William Byron at +1900. You have this
might
is
not be bad to throw a little bit of money on them just as a wild card.
Right. Well, this is somebody that you might want to look at throwing some money at too. A 3-way tie of +1600 with AJ Allmendinger, Chase Briscoe, and Christopher Bell. I'm sorry, a 4-way tie. Denny Hamlin is also +1600. I really, really like that +1600 for AJ Allmendinger.
Yeah.
We saw him win at the Indy Road Course last year. There's no reason why he couldn't do it again at COTA. That's really intriguing. I would put some money down if you want to take a chance there. Next up is Austin Cindric at +1400. And then you have a tie again with the top 4 here. You have a tie, actually, I guess technically it's a tie at 3rd with +1000 with Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr., the JGR boys over there. And then you have your Hendrick boys to round out the top 2. Kyle Larson at +300. And then your favorite to win is the number 9. +250 is his chances. Chase Elliott.
Now, with chances like that, do you bet on Chase this week? I don't know.
I'm going to.
How much money are you putting up on that one?
All of it. All of it. It's either I win or I get divorced and I'm living on the streets. No, I don't know. I don't get crazy with my betting as far as money goes. I just do enough to make it a little more interesting. 5 or 10
All
bucks.
I know is I'm not a gambling man per se, to go out there and put money on the line. I let my brother do all of that for me. But I will say, if you are looking for advice from our show, even though I don't bet, I'd stick with me because I think I've been 3-1 the last 3 weeks here. So if you want to win some money,
You have been real
Ron
consistent in your picks.
Yeah. Don't call him out either because he really showed us up 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, man, I feel so dumb, dude. I feel so dumb. But I mean, that's the show anyways, though. Matt, who are you picking to win this week? You're up first, bud.
I'm going to make it really confusing on you, Whitey. I'm picking the guy you thought I picked this week. Or no. Yeah, I'm picking the guy you thought I picked this week. I'm picking my guy, the road course ace. I'm picking Chase Elliott. I haven't picked him at all yet this year, so I will use up. I will try to use up all my uses on him on road courses. So here's one: Chase Elliott on a road course.
Okay, I'll mark it down right now so I don't forget.
Are you sure? Put it. It's
Yeah.
It's Matt. My name is Matt, and I'm picking Chase Elliott.
All right. Well, my name is Michael, and I am going with. I didn't put much thought into it.
You're not up all night because you're taking shingles medications. You're up all night because you don't know who to pick.
I am.
Right.
I'm looking at spreads. I'm thinking like, man, Austin Cindric did run really good in the beginning of that race last year, but it was because he was on slick tires. Everyone else was on wet weather tires, and it wasn't really wet then.
I heard it. He's picking Austin Cindric.
No, I'm not. And I'm like, oh man, Tyler Reddick, he was on the pole last season. He ran really well until the rain came, and then he got into some stuff. And Tyler ran second at the Roval. William Byron, he was running really great. I don't know. I don't think Chase really has it, so I'm staying away from Chase. But you already picked him, so I don't have to worry about that. My mind is in a million different places, so I'm gonna pick my guy and be a homer, and I'm gonna pick Tyler Reddick. So. Let's go.
Well, I'm going to pick the guy just to spite Whitey on the guy that he probably should have and was going to pick. He's now in Cup. He ain't an Xfinity part-timer anymore, but
that's true.
He won the Daytona 500.
That is also true. He's got a lot of IMSA experience.
Austin Cindric in that too. I think he gets it done.
All right. Marked it down. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this Sunday, 3:30. 5 races in. We have 5 different winners. Austin Cindric, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe, William Byron. Could Austin Cindric be the first repeat winner of the season? Could Chase Elliott get his first win since his last road course win? Can Tyler Reddick get his first career Cup win? We will find out this weekend for the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix at COTA, 3:30 on Fox, and we will break it all down for you next Monday night right here on the Bump and Run podcast, and I will be off my medication by then, and hopefully it won't be as off the rails. For Matt, the stat man, Reilly, Eric's always drinking his medication. He's like my grandpa. For Daytona Ron, I'm Michael D. White saying have a good night.
The bump and run.
There it is.